horrific murder was bad enough that it happened at all, but it was doubly astonishing for a West Florida community that no one was able to prevent it. A young woman named Denise Amber Lee was abducted and later murdered. Do you want to know about this vicious story of this young woman? Well, there is only one way to find out. Here we begin. On January 17, 2008, a young mother named Denise Amber Lee was kidnapped from her home, driven down active roads winding through the residential neighborhoods in broad daylight, and crying for her life. Yes, this is the story. So let's get into more details. On the same day, 21-year-old Denise Amber Lee was doing her daily work and taking care of their two kids, 2-year-old Noah and 6-month-old Adam, while her husband Nathan was at work. It was an apparently normal day for the couple, but things changed for a dreadful ending. When Nathan called Denise on his lunch break, they talked briefly about the weather. Nathan suggested Denise open the windows as the weather was pretty good. At 3 p.m., Nathan called Denise once more to let her know he was leaving home, but there was no response. He called her 8 more times when he was driving home. As he pulled into the driveway, he saw the windows, which Denise said she had opened, were now shut down. The kids were fine, but Denise was not there. He instantly called 911 and told the operator that his wife had been abducted. The next call Nathan made was to Denise's father, Rick Goff, a police detective. Within a half hour, he had the police dogs and helicopters surveying the area. Next, authorities started banging on the neighbor's door to see if anyone had seen or heard anything. To their amazement, someone had. A neighbor noticed a white male pull into the Lee's driveway in a green Chevy Camaro at about 2:30 p.m. Yes, they became sure that the male was behind it. The kidnapper called, and there was a second call to 911, and surprisingly, it was Denise herself. While pretending to discuss with her kidnapper, Denise dispatched as much information as possible to the 911 operator containing her name, the street she lived on, the color and make of her automobile, and the fact that he was a stranger to her. Denise begged her kidnapper to allow her to go. She talked about her newborns and how badly she yearned to see her family. What upset us is that Denise used the word police 17 times when pleading with her captor to send her out. 7 minutes into the call, Denise's kidnapper understood that his phone was missing, and unexpectedly the line went dead. Since the abductor's phone was a burner, the officers could not trace it. They were, however, competent in finding out who it belonged to, and it was Michael Lee King. Talking about the killer, Michael Lee King was a 36-year-old unemployed man living in Northport, not too far from Denise and Nathan. He was recently divorced, he had a 12-year-old child, and his home was on the verge of foreclosure. After brazenly abducting Denise in broad daylight, Michael took her to his house where he bound her with duct tape and constantly raped her. Afterward, he drove to his cousin Harold Muxlow's home and requested him to lend him a shovel, a can of gas, and a flashlight. After Michael sped off, Harold returned to his home and informed his 17-year-old daughter Sabrina what he had just noticed. At 6:23 p.m., she placed the third call to the police. She informed them that her father's cousin had abducted a woman and given him his address. 7 minutes later, a fourth call was made to 911. It was a woman named Jane Kowalski. Jane told the police that a man in a Camaro had pulled up next to her in a spotlight. He used one hand to push something down in the backseat while using the other to steer. Jane said she could hear a child crying from inside the car and a hand slamming on the back passenger's side window. She acknowledged that she was witnessing a child kidnapping in progress. As she attempted to get his license plate, Michael made a sharp left turn and sped off toward Northport. Unfortunately, it was too late the next time his car was seen. At 9:15, a patrol officer spotted Michael's green Camaro and pulled him over. As the officer peeked into the vehicle, he saw a muddy shovel that was lying in the back seat where Denise herself had been bound many hours earlier. On January 19, 2008, Denise's naked body was concealed in a shallow grave in a muddy field only 5 miles from where Jane Kowalski called 911. Shockingly, she had been shot in the head. So that's all for now. Did you find this story horrifying? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more.